Hey folks, welcome back to the farm. Tonight we're going to be making as a recipe one of my favorite things in the world to eat. Stick around, we'll show you what that is. So one of my favorite things is red beans and rice. And I don't make it that often. We used to get it, or I used to get it at Popeye's Chicken. I really enjoyed their red beans and rice, but there's no Popeye's Chickens anywhere near around us here. So I thought I would make some because I've been missing it for a while. And usually when you make red beans and rice, you end up with this gigantic pot of beans and rice, and it's just way too much. So I'm going to show you how to make red beans and rice for two. So let's get after it. So first thing we need to do is cook our rice and get it ready. In here I have 1 cup of water. And when that comes to a boil, we're going to add our rice. Remember, your rice ratio is twice as much water as rice. So with 1 cup of water, we obviously have to add half a cup of rice. We're going to be using long grain rice. Now, something we learned years ago when we used to have Japanese foreign exchange students is you have to rinse your rice. If you do not rinse your rice, it's going to taste like a cardboard box or dirt or whatever's in it. It would be just like any other thing that you would eat that would come from a field or a garden. If you don't wash it, it's going to have whatever it brought in out of the field to it. We never realized that until one of our exchange students went off when she seen Mom dumping rice straight into the pot. So we're going to rinse this real good. It's our half a cup of rice. We'll just leave our rice here in the sink to keep draining. Now if you rinse your rice, believe me, you're going to taste a noticeable difference in your finished products. Looks like our water's boiling, so let's get our rice in. Okay, we're going to dump our rice into our boiling water. We'll give it a little stir. There's a pinch of salt in there. So now we're going to put the lid on it, keep it at a simmer, and we're going to simmer it for right at 20 minutes. Another way to bump up the flavor of your rice is to use like chicken stock instead of the water. That'll add you a little more flavor too. While our rice simmers over there, we're going to get our red beans started. I've got 2 tablespoons of butter in here into our big skillet, and I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to go with that. And then once that gets hot, we'll add our next ingredient. Our fat is hot in the pan. To that, we're going to add some vegetables. We're going to add half a cup of bell pepper. We're adding a 1/4 cup of onion and a 1/4 cup of celery. This is the stuff that we harvested out of the garden and put in the freezer. It's perfect for this kind of stuff. So we'll let that come to a simmer until those vegetables get soft. The freezing process is going to speed that up quite a bit, which is nice. So to our pan right now, we're going to go ahead and add our bay leaf. We're going to add about a half a teaspoon of salt and black pepper to taste, whatever you like. Give that a stir. That oil will wake up that bay leaf pretty good. Okay, it's been a couple minutes, so we're going to add about 2 cloves worth of minced garlic. And we're going to get that heated up. We don't want to burn it, but we do want to get a little color on it. And that'll wake up that oil as well. Okay, the next thing we're going to add is 3 ounces of smoked andouille sausage, which means it's partially cooked. So basically, you just have to heat it up. So we'll keep that stirred up until that sausage heats up real nice, renders some of that fat in it. Next, we're going to throw in our spices here. We have a 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. We're using our smoked paprika. 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So we'll give that a stir in there, wake up those spices a little bit. Okay, everything's looking good. We've got a pint of our really good chicken stock. You can see how gelatinous that is. Really good stuff. We're going to mix that in. And then we're going to add 1 pint of our red beans that we canned. As soon as this comes back to a simmer, we'll add that in. Alright, we just dumped our pint of red beans in there. Oh, it's looking really good. So that's all of our ingredients for our red beans. So we're going to put this on a low and let it simmer probably for about 30 minutes or so. And then we'll remove that bay leaf. The sauce or the liquid in the beans is going to reduce a little bit. And it'll be really yummy. If you remember, we got this smoked andouille sausage the other day when we went to the Cajun food wagon. And that was our plan for this all along. Alright, timers went off, which means our rice is done. Let's turn the fire off. We'll fluff that with a fork a little bit. Got some beautiful rice there. Enough for 2 servings of red beans and rice. Well, 2 regular person servings, I guess I should say. We'll let that sit. Now, if you're not a person that cans and you don't have a pint of red beans down in your pantry, just use a can of red beans from the store, one of those 15-ounce cans that used to be 16-ounce. That'll be about the same. It'll have a little bit more liquid in it, but it'll be fine. Just cook it a little bit longer, cook that liquid down. Or if you want to go with dry beans, it would be a 1/2 cup of dry red beans. Soak those, cook those, and then drain some liquid off to where you're about the same consistency as like a can of beans would be. So now that our rice is cooled a little bit, we got about a 1/4 cup of chopped cilantro that we're just going to stir into our rice here. And it wasn't packed 1/4 cup, it's kind of a loose 1/4 cup. Just get some cilantro flavor into that rice. Gives it a beautiful color. There we go. Put the lid back on that for now. Okay, we pulled our bay leaf out of our beans. This is about the consistency we want. You don't want them real thick because you want some of that juice for the rice. So let's taste this for spice and then we'll serve it up. Now, serving this up, there's different schools of thought. Some people will dump the rice right into the beans, stir it all up, and then serve it that way. Some people will put the beans in their bowl and then put a little pile of rice on top and serve it that way. Some people will put the rice in the bowl and then ladle the beans over the top of the rice. It's up to you. We're eventually going to stir it up in our bowl anyway, but for presentation, we'll put the beans on the bottom, rice on the top. There it is. Let's dig in. All right, folks, here we go. I like to mix my rice in a little bit. Mix it with the beans. Remember when I said this was red beans and rice for 2? Well, not tonight, because home alone tonight. Kelly's off helping my cousin with a project for the wrestling team. So it's red beans and rice for 1 tonight. Now, normally this isn't served as a main course. This is served as a side for other dishes. like if you're eating some fried food or fish or chicken, something like that. But tonight it's going to be my main meal. Got everything I need in here. Protein, starches, just a little bit of green stuff. All right. Moment of truth. Very yummy. Right up there with the best beans and rice, or red beans and rice I've ever had. Probably because I make it myself. It's got that little bit of bite to it. You've got that background flavor of the cilantro, and the rice is really good. The bell pepper and the onion. Let's get one of these sausages going on here. The sausage has rendered down into that broth as we were cooking the beans. That's off the hook good, folks. Don't know what else to tell you. Well, I'm going to finish my supper. Now, of course, if you're feeding a crowd, you can multiply this recipe by however many times you want. And if you're feeding a crowd, serving like family style or whatever, I would actually mix the rice in with the beans there after you're done cooking everything. Don't do it ahead of time. But right before you serve it, mix the rice in, you're good to go. Well, folks, that was a fantastic meal. Really, really good. If you find it's not hot enough for you, put a little of your favorite hot sauce in there or whatever. But this has got plenty of kick for me, and I like hot stuff. So I think you'll be really satisfied with this. Some people just like it crazy hot, though. So hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you try it because it's going to become one of your favorites. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here at Markelly Farm real soon. The content is always free here.